Hello everybody, my name is Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. And today I'd like to talk to you a little bit around planning films and planning your own shoot for when you start getting out there and starting to do stuff. When you first begin, I was very much the same, you get this sort of feeling that you need to make everything perfect, that you need to make sure that you've got exactly the right best camera, the best equipment. You need to make sure that you've got all the right locations, get everything nailed beforehand, before you even hit record for the first thing. And I'd like to challenge that a little bit, and that you don't need to have everything planned out. Because plans fail. Every plan fails. You ever plan like a gathering with your friends? You ever realize just how difficult that is? Because your friends can be a pain in the ass, and they'll end up changing your plans because someone will go, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not free here. All that kind of stuff, and it'll end up just becoming a nightmare trying to get that done if you stick to such a rigid plan. I'm reminded again, I spoke about in another video, someone that I know who's been spending 2 years trying to organize a game of laser tag because he's so insistent on getting everything planned exactly right. And you're never going to get everything planned exactly right. You're never going to have everything turn out exactly the way you see it in your head, unless you have the resources to do that. If you've got, £100,000 to spend on like a very low budget type thing, sure, you can make what you want. But when you're working with the kind of £100, £200, maybe £1,000 budgets that I'm used to, you can't really approach film in that sort of traditional way. You need to start approaching it in some unconventional way where you can look at things differently, where you can look at things as they are. Like right now, I've got all these extras behind me. I don't know if you can see them actually, but there's people going up and down behind there. If this was a big budget shoot, for instance, like a £10 million thing, you might have people that are asked to walk around in the background, or you might have a restaurant scene where you get loads of extras to play people in the background pretending to have a conversation doing a bit of this. And the reason that they do that is so that when you want to combine multiple takes, because the reason they don't have people in the background having little conversations, which is what I always used to think they would do. I used to think that they scripted out conversations for the extras to say, and maybe those conversations would somehow help the theme of the film. If it's a film about death, maybe you'd have like a couple of extras in the background going, ooh, my grandma's, terminal, or whatever, And turns out they get them to mouth like this. I'm trying to say out a sentence, right? I just tried to say, my name is Jonny Mozza, and this is Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. And I feel like if you tried to dub it over, my name is Jonny Mozza, and this is Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, it's not going to fit over it, because isn't how people talk. And if you plan things out, I feel like you sterilize your film if you plan too much. It's the same way if you rehearse too much for your gig. You're going to get out there and you're not going to give the best performance. You'll have realized that your best performance of those songs was the time that you were in the basement beforehand with your bandmates, just performing the song again and again and again and again. And it would have been like one of the middle versions of the song. When you did it like 10 times, it would have been the fifth one would have been the best one. So if you try and perfect things, then you are going to end up with a worse product than if you just go with the flow. And what I've been doing the past few days is meeting up with a load of people that I've met via Mandy.com, which is a recruitment sort of site for connecting actors, filmmakers, directors, producers, cameramen, gaffers, everything like that. It's essentially a networking website, and I use it to try and get in touch with different people that have the same kind of mentality towards film that I do, and people that can go along with the flow, even if they don't have the same mentality, because I know that my way of doing things isn't the be-all and end-all, but I think for what your project is, you need to have your own be-all and end-all. So if I was to go and help those people that, like, if I go and help Neve, for instance, on her film, and she has a different mentality to doing film, which I'm sure she does, I would go along with her flow and go along with what she wants to do and go along with how she approaches film. And we would end up with two very different products. Even if we both took our crack at the exact same story, we would end up with two different things. Because we're different people, because we have different stories that led us to this point, and because we have different philosophies about the world and about ourselves and our place within the world, and different mentalities on what the purpose of entertainment is. Is entertainment there to make you think? Is it there to be escapism? Is it there to remind you of things in the real world as a commentary on the issues of the day? And these are all valid takes for different things, And it's very important, I think, for you to know your voice. If you know your voice, then you're going to get a way better end product, even if you don't have the best camera, even if you don't have professional actors, even if you don't have a crew that knows what they're doing and they're like, slack-jawed layabouts that you met through, your film university. You're going to end up with a good product because you have an extremely vivid idea of what to do and how to do it. And because you know how to get the results that you want, you can get them. If you don't know how to get what you want, then there's no point in doing this, because you're going to end up with a product that's essentially kind of the same thing as when you get like a boardroom and they'll all have different ideas of what you should be doing. I want this film to have a little love B-plot, and I think this film we should insert an action scene here, and what's this saying? A camel is a horse designed by committee. And that's when money's involved. If you don't know what you're doing, you're allowing other people to essentially invade your vision, then you're going to end up with a camel without the financial backing and the payday at the end of it. That is the reason that people make those kind of films. The reason that people sign on to these huge $200 million budget Hollywood films without any real creative control is because they get a payday out of it, and they can then use those paydays sometimes to go off and support themselves while they create genuine artistic expressions. Or maybe it's they want an extension on their house in Hawaii or whatever. That is why they do it. And if you're going out there and are unsure of what you want, then you're going to end up with a crap product, no matter if you're filming with an Arri Alexa or like an iPhone 5S, right? You will end up with the same filtered down, sterile end result. That means you might as well not have bothered trying to express yourself artistically. So I would say that whilst I don't think planning is important and I think you should go with the flow, I also am a firm believer in knowing what you want. Sometimes there'll be a shot in front of me and I think that is a gorgeous shot, but I won't get it because I have no need for it. It doesn't fit with what I am trying to do. And so I go and find a different shot. It might even not look, technically as good. It might not be, gorgeous vistas like that. Well, it's not really a gorgeous vista, is it? It's a Millennium bloody wheel. But you end up with something that helps progress your story in a more interesting way. I used to, when I was younger and first getting involved in film, I didn't really know what my stories were about. And I struggled to explain them to people. And I was always stumbling over my own stories. And it ended up resulting in these films that feel like this weird mishmash of ideas that, could have been interesting if someone had, taken me aside and just gone, you need to focus this down on a particular idea, a particular vision. You're trying to get everything and you can't. And when you're working with these kind of low budgets, like what I'm doing and like what you're likely doing as well, you need to have that vision, because that vision is worth more than $200 million. It's worth more than your own time. There's no point in spending all your time and your money and your mental well-being, because that's what you're doing. A long, intensive film journey that you go on is sacrificing a bit of your own mental well-being for the sake of art. Like when I did my last film, Sheffield Psychedelic, I sacrificed a lot of my mental well-being, way too much. It caused a lot of problems in my life. And for the end result, it's not a film that I'm particularly proud of. I'm proud of what we did, and I'm proud of getting everyone together to do this thing, and I'm proud of what I learned from that experience. And the end result is fun, but I feel like it's laughing at it fun, not laughing with it fun. And I feel like if I had done that film now, I would have done it so differently. And it is essentially a snapshot of your own life in that moment of, and you know, of your own state of maturity, because maturity isn't a linear curve. You know, it's not like the older you get, the more mature you get. There was a period last year where I was less mature than I was about 8 years ago, because of the life circumstances that you're in. That's what matters. You know, I was going through some issues that I'm not going to get into, but because of that, because my mind was so clouded, it meant that I was less able to practice maturity compared to, say, 8 years ago when I was a lot more stable as a human being. And if you try and treat maturity like it's a linear curve, you're going to end up having a hard time with life, because you're going to find out, you're going to have that challenge a lot. And the reason that I do film, and the reason that despite going through all of that shit, I'm bouncing myself, I'm diving back into it and going back into the fray and putting myself back through that same pain, is because this time I have a vision. I have something so concrete that I want to get across. And right now I am getting it across. I'm getting across to you that planning isn't everything. I haven't planned this. I haven't even got notes. I haven't got a script. I haven't got notes. I didn't even know where I was going to film this. I didn't even know that I was going to film this. I just knew that this was a cool location, and I thought I could sit here and talk to the camera. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about. I did one take where it was a bit naff, so I stopped it and I figured, all right, I'm going to talk about the idea of planning. And the idea of planning, you know, I'm not saying, by the way, that never do any planning whatsoever. Obviously, you need to plan, like, you know, what time you're going to be at your location, and, like, you know, if you want a restaurant and you need to go talk to a restaurant owner and get their permission, or, you know, if you don't want to get their permission, you need to find a way that you're going to do it without getting permission. In my case, it's going to be shooting it from outside the restaurant and having them in the window. And also for something like that, that means that we need to get there a bit earlier so that we can make sure that the table that I want is free. So, you know, you're planning all these little details, but you're not paralyzing yourself through the plan, and you're not letting the plan override the moment, I think, is the most important thing. Don't let the plan override the moment, because if you're doing that, then you're essentially trying to catch lightning in a bottle with a fishing net, and you're never going to catch it. You're just going to burn your net, which I don't think is the way to do film. I think, having been on large film sets, I don't feel like it's a true expression of art. I feel like it's an expression of business interests. You know how paintings can be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's essentially a tax avoidance scheme? That's what films are. These big budget films, they are a tax avoidance scheme. And it works. It certainly works, because none of these films make a profit. You know, Return of the Jedi never made a profit. It's a Star Wars fucking movie. It was the third Star Wars movie when everyone was so excited for it, you know? It never made a profit, so that meant that it never had to pay off its, pay its director. It never had to pay the main actors, like the percentage of the film, and as a result, there were tax benefits that came towards them that they were able to take advantage of and then not pay back into the system. And I don't think that film should be this business corporate thing. I think that film should be about personal expression, the same way that an author sits down to pen their novel. I think a film director should sit down, call everyone that they can, get the resources that they can, and then just get to the set with their idea and make it. And don't let plans get in the way of what you want to do, because you can do it. You've got the ability within you to do it. I'm not like a people person particularly. I'm not someone that can like just rock up and charm someone into giving me what they want. But what I do have is this ability to somehow bring people together for a singular purpose, a singular vision. And in the past, I didn't even know what my vision totally was. It was locked like that, when you should be locked like that, right? And now I feel like I am locked like that, okay? Particularly because the way that I want to do this film, even though I've been scripting it, I stopped writing the script actually because I don't want to script it. I want to film it fairly chronologically, not completely chronologically, but more or less chronologically. That way, when we turn up to a set, I know what the context of the film is so far, and I know what I need to get out of the scene, because those are the most important things. And when you try and mishmash all these different things and film it out of sequence, that's when the plan becomes so much more intrinsic, because it's so easy to get it wrong. That's when hair length starts coming into the equation. That's when, you know, say someone that you know needs to go like is getting I don't know, like surgery for their face, and then they turn up 6 months later. I had it with someone on a film where we were doing some reshoots, and the hair's completely different. You know, you don't have this control over people, especially when you're this low budget, because I'm not paying him. I don't have control over his life and what hair he has, you know. So it's my fault for not making something that's feasible. And we ended up creating something that, you know, is desperately clinging on to the idea when you shouldn't be desperate. You should be, you know, confident and consistent, and just having fun as well. You should be having fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, then stop, because I don't think that you're going to be making something that you're going to look back on and think that all that misery was worth it. And I know I've said that I went through pain and hardship to make a film, because making a film isn't easy. It's not an easy process. It is difficult. Sometimes you have to get up early. Sometimes you have to have late nights. Sometimes you're stuck in central London for 3 hours while you're in between interviewing 2 people, which is my situation now. I've just gone to speak to Neve, and now I'm going to wait for someone called Camilla. So, yeah, that's essentially what I'm talking about with regard to film. Am I all right to film here, by the way? Is it? I'll take it. Is this all right to film here?
Sorry?
Is this all right to film here?
I think so. What are you filming?
I'm just filming a piece to camera, so I can move it if it's in the way or anything like that.
What's it about?
Well, I'm working on a film at the moment, just a little sort of indie sort of film. So I'm just doing little pieces to camera where I'm just describing the process along the way. Just 'cause I'm waiting for actors to show up, and I'm just here early, so I've got the camera. I figured do something, you know. Yeah.
I don't think there's a problem. They'll soon tell me if there is.
All right. I'm about to finish anyway, so I'll be out of your hair as well. All right. Thank you so much. I think with that, I'm gonna love you. And I hate that phrase. I don't know why I keep saying that phrase. That was unplanned. That was, you know, you've gotten a little bit of life in that, and that's probably taught you more than what I've been doing, because that's the way you approach things. Be nice. Be, you know, confident at the same time. Although I don't think I was particularly confident with that, with the way I said, oh, it's a little indie film. It's like, why am I underselling it? I mean, it's not that she cares what it is, but I'm just, where was I? Yeah, just go out there and do it. Do something now. When you finish this video, make some dog shit in your bedroom or your living room or your garden, and just have a bit of fun with it. Try and make something that's maybe got a bit of a vibe, and just, even if you just use your phone and then you take it into the editing suite and you crank all the colors like to mad like contrast, and so it's really stylized. Just, you know, try something. And in doing, you learn. You don't learn from studying other films, because you weren't on those sets. You don't know what was going through Quentin Tarantino's head when he was doing Pulp Fiction. You can listen to his interviews, but those interviews aren't necessarily what he was thinking there, because there'll be shit that he doesn't want to talk about. There's stuff that I don't talk to you about because it's personal. And there's stuff that Quentin Tarantino also won't, because that's personal to him. And you can't, someone is really, they're putting me off because they're ranting about borderline personality disorder. Shut up. I'm trying to do a video. He's not over there, he's way off in the distance, and you might even be able to hear him. Look, I'm gonna say goodbye for now, because I think you've gotten the general idea. It's better to go and try and fail than it is to not try and live in ignorance over whether that thing might have worked. You know, just do stuff, try it, and if it falls flat on its face, it does, and you've made a load of shite, and that's fine. And then you go and make another load of shite and another load of shite, and with each load of shite you make, you're gonna understand what you're doing more, and you're gonna get an idea, and you're gonna have fun with it. And if you're not, then you'll find another hobby that helps you out. For me, whilst yes, I do make my living off of like events and videography gigs and stuff like that, this filmmaking side of things, where I go and direct things, is a hobby. The way that people might spend money on model trains, I spend money on making films, and I love it, and I'm gonna do it again and again and again until I'm sick of it. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble on, and I will take my leave. I'm gonna pretend to walk off screen, and then I'm gonna come back around and then pick the camera up. There we are. You can still hear me. All right. It's gonna turn off soon. It's gonna turn off. Is this video gonna end now? Not yet. How about now? That was fun. Hey up everybody, my name is Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about scheduling and multitasking in particular. So if you've got a lot of things to do, how do you get all of those things done? Because a lot of those things might require very different mindsets. For instance, if you've got to go to work and then you've got to pick your son up from the school, and then you've got to go, I don't know, down to the post office and sort something out there, and then you need to go do your shopping. That's 4 things that all require quite different mindsets. And to use a larger sort of scale thing, with this film that I'm making, it requires an awful lot of, communication between various departments. I call them departments. It's just people that I've networked with and found through, networking events and Mandy.com, and just friends that I already knew and stuff like that. There's so many different facets of making a film. There's the technical side of things. There's getting the actors in. There's getting the crew. There's finding the locations. There's the post-production process. There's all of these different elements. There's the envisioning and the planning and the writing. And all of these things require a different mentality. And when you are starting out and you've got no money and you're just trying to make it work on your own, you have to do basically most of that, if not all of it. And all of those things require a completely different mindset. Writing requires a different mindset from, casting. And that requires a different mindset from actually being on set and filming the thing. So all of these things require such different modes of thinking. And how do you combine everything with the 24 hours that you have in a day, minus the 7, 8, 9 hours that you need to sleep? So realistically, you've got 24 hours. Take 8 away straight away for sleep. That's 16 hours a day. Now let's take 2 hours out, 1 for getting up in the morning and 1 for going to bed. So now you're at 14 hours. Now I presume that you need some off time because you're not a machine. So let's take 2 hours at least to just relax. That's 12 hours. Now let's take out traveling somewhere and back if you need to do something like that. That can be another 2 hours. So that's now 10 hours. Now let's take out all your day-to-day life errands. Now this will vary from person to person. I don't have any kids, I don't have any dependents or anything like that. So for me, it's not actually the biggest thing in the world, but it does take up, another 2-3 hours a day. So now I'm at 7 hours per day to actually make everything kind of happen. Now, with those 7 hours, what do you do? Because you've only got 7 hours, which works out to about 450 minutes. What do you do with that time? How do you make that time as useful and productive as possible? So first off, there is the networking side of things. That's texting people. You've got to do a lot of texting, a lot of emailing and stuff like that, messaging people on Mandy.com. These things take time, and these are things that you can do kind of in between other tasks. So whilst I've been out here filming my 3 videos that I've set out to film, I have also been in between, checking my emails and checking my texts, and I sorted out the shoot for Friday, which I've now pushed to Saturday because there was a scheduling conflict. I'm actually going to a concert on the Friday, which I'd completely forgotten about. My friend Toby, who plays Izzy Insane in the film, invited me out to a concert, so I'm going to that on the Friday, and I was meant to be doing the filming on the Friday, and I was kind of like, oh no. So I sort of messaged the couple people that were to help me out. I said, can we push this to this day? Because they were already kind of able to do either or. It wasn't completely locked in for Friday yet. So I made the decision to make it for Saturday. So whilst I've been out here, I've also kind of got that done, for instance. While I was doing my filming the other day, I was uploading videos for this channel. Whilst I was on the break, I uploaded the quantity and quality video whilst I was doing the break, and in between sort of talking to everyone else that's on the set and hanging out and all that kind of stuff, I was just doing that as well. So you're always kind of in this work mode from beginning to end of the day, and you just use the little time that you actually have available to actually create something. And what you can do to try and make things more efficient is to branch out and network and try and not have to do everything on your own. There are so many brilliant and wonderful creatives out there that can help you on your journey. I love helping people fulfill their vision, and shooting people's films, and that's what I kind of do. I'm the director of photography, so I love to do all that kind of stuff. I love to try and make it look satisfying for the audience, and try and fulfill their vision and make their worldview come across on screen. Now, to do that, you have to put in a lot of time and a lot of effort, and for a lot of us, it's for no pay. So you're kind of going out there, and you're paying the travel costs, you're paying the bus fare, you're paying the train fare, whatever, going to this place and then coming back. Maybe you get some food while you're out there, and that's a day that's kind of gone towards that. So while you're on those kind of sets and you're trying to make your own film, that's a good opportunity. During the break, again, just send a couple texts out, and don't be afraid of sending texts out, because that's what paralyzed me for so long. Was I was always worried about coming off wrong and unprofessional. And since I started doing this film, I have just started texting the way that I text normal people, just in my everyday life. I'm not the sort of person to say, "Dear so-and-so, thank you so much for your application. We are pleased to say that you've got the job. Please send your blah 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 to this blah blah blah." I don't really do that. I'm kind of like, "Hey, yo, yeah, that was really good. I really liked what you were doing there. That's brilliant. Yeah, I'd love to have you on board. I think you'd be such a great addition to the team and stuff." And when you are genuine and passionate about stuff, you do kind of end up doing the managerial pep talk, and it feels authentic, because you are saying it authentically because you actually believe it and you have the passion for this project that you're working on. So there is a lot of work that goes into making a feature film, a hell of a lot of work, and I would recommend starting off with doing short form content first. I've done plenty of short form content over the past 5-6 years, to the point where I've now become comfortable challenging myself with these big feature film projects, and I am confident that I can provide some kind of quality product at the end of this. And the reason that I feel confident in that is because I have networked and found so many amazingly talented people that have come onto this Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence to help various parts along, and to make things sort of smoother and better, so that I don't have to do literally everything. Like Eva, the costume design, for instance, has really added such an interesting element to the film, and it's also taken a lot off of my own mind, because now I don't need to worry about costume quite so much. My co-director and producer, Hadid and Shivani, are amazing, and they really help sort of filter out my bad ideas, and they kind of help to put in their own little things. And we have these meetings on Zoom, or we maybe meet up at this cafe that I like, that where it's really cheap, but it feels really nice and quite professional looking. It makes you feel like a proper Hollywood executive, because you're in this really nice bougie kind of looking restaurant kind of thing, and the music's quite quiet, although it can be too loud sometimes. But anyway, if you're going out there to try and make a film, you do need to learn to multitask. I think that is the most important thing that you can do. Learn to do a few things at the same time. And you don't need a schedule to do that. You don't need to regiment all of these things out in a completely stock way. Just think, I've got to do this, and do it. Think, okay, I need to go out and email this person. Just email them. And don't worry so much about your wording and stuff like that, because if they're not interested, then a bit of wording is not going to turn them off. And if it did, then they weren't going to be that great to work with anyway, and you'd been walking around eggshells with them the entire time. So don't worry so much about it. Just do. Don't plan, just do. And don't worry, just do. Just do stuff. Just go out there and make things happen. And when you do that, you will get into a groove. And once you get into that groove, you can start really fucking dancing away like this, You know, once you get a bit of this going on, other people want to join in on your groove and start being part of your jam and part of your project. And as you get more and more people involved, dancing alongside you, the better your project will be. If it's the kind of project that requires, you know, a large sort of set, if you're trying to find, you know, camera crew and sound guys and gaffers and all that sort of stuff, you know, and if you're on a low budget, it's going to be quite hard to get some of those things. Like sound guys tend to charge, you know, gaffers tend to charge, editors tend to charge, because editors actually have to dedicate quite a lot of their time to doing stuff. So you are going to come across hurdles, you are going to come across things that aren't going to work out, and, you know, connections that maybe don't work out, and you'll sort of say, oh yeah, I'd love to work for you at some point in the future, and you never really do. But that's not to say that the door has been shut. It's just that you're not walking through this doorway because you see a dark room on the other side. And all you need to do is go into that room and flick the light switch on. And once you do that, your world will illuminate very, very real, in a serious kind of way. It will actually illuminate your own mindset and make things so clear. And that's kind of the message that I've been trying to do with these videos, is that you don't need to worry. You can just go out there and make stuff happen. And when you do that, you will find that it's incredibly, incredibly rewarding. It's so rewarding to be doing this Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. And I really cannot wait to show you all the product at the end of this line, of this you know, mindset that I'm in at the moment. I really cannot wait for you to see it. It's going to be so, even if it's not a perfect film, it's an authentic film, and I couldn't ask for anything better. And thank you so much to the crew that has been helping me out with this so far. I'm really excited to show you what we got. And yeah, if you've got your own film that you're trying to work on, let me know, pitch it in the comments. And you know, if you see one that's kind of interesting, message them, find their Twitter or their Instagram or whatever, just give them a message and just sort of go, hey, I liked that pitch for that idea you've got. Hey, I live in another country, but, you know, let's be online friends, let's be pen pals, and just sort of talk about creativity and stuff, and just have that avenue that's kind of open, rather than us all being isolated and closed off and trying to make things in a vacuum. Because filmmaking is a communal effort, and when you embrace that, you come into a lot of good things, and you find the reward at the treasure at the end of the rainbow. So yeah, I'm really excited to be doing this, and I'm so glad to be doing it with so many wonderful and talented people. And I'm so happy that this is how I you know, work, and how I earn a living in this field. And I use like events and so on to kind of pay the bills and stuff, and then I might work like a bar job here and there if I need to. You know, I'm just so glad that we can do this and come together in this sort of way, because you make so many great friends and so many great connections with people. And some of my best friends I've met through you know, Mandy, and, you know, started off on a project where we were putting up this professional wall that slowly gets broken down across the course of filming, and then by the end of the shoot, you know, like you message someone like the director of the shoot you're going to, and it's all very professional. You're like, hey, this person, blah 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 blah, all the best, you. And then they do the same in response. And then after the shoot, you just start texting like you're texting normal people. And I think that's so much better and so much more interesting to just talk the way that you would talk and just be yourself. Because if you just be yourself, you get rewarded by it, by the people around you, because they feel like in your company they too can be themselves, because this is a place, safe space for authenticity and self-expression. And I think with that, I'm going to close this video out. Thank you all so much for watching this. If you are in the London area and you are interested in joining Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, send an email to Official Morrison Films @gmail.com. So in a radio voice, that's officialmorrisonfilms@gmail.com. Yeah, just send over like a show reel. Don't worry about being all professional with it. Send a show reel, send some stuff that you've done. Let me know what you kind of want, and I'll send over the script that I've got so far, send over a couple little bits of information, and yeah, we'll see what we can make out of it, because this is all about bringing a community together for the purposes of a singular vision and putting that vision out there. And once it is out there, it will be because of the hard work of this community that we managed to get it done. And because no man is an island, no man can do it all on their own, and I could never make Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence on my own. I need the talent that has come on board, and I'm so thankful for them. And I'm so thankful for you for watching this and taking something away from this. And I sometimes get comments that kind of go, oh yeah, I really got inspired by this, and made me want to go make something, and that's such a great feeling. And I want to perpetuate that and perpetuate this community-driven spirit, So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Take care. I'm going to leave you with Warren Farm. This is one of the most beautiful places in the world. Another bastion of community. I find so many brilliant creatives that come down here. Like I came here once when I was shooting a music video, and there was a guy with a drone, right? And I sort of thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have a drone in my film, right? So I sort of said to the two actors I was filming with, hey, I'm going to go try and chat to the drone guy. So I ran up to the drone guy, and he was right around this sort of area, right? And said to him, hey, how's the drone sort of stuff going? He's like, yeah, not too bad. I'm just practicing for a music video shoot I've got to do tomorrow. There's quite some intricate kind of moves that I've kind of got to do, so I'm trying to get those sort of nailed down. And I was like, hey, I've got a couple actors with me here. How about you can practice those moves with my actors, so you've got some subjects to follow, and then you just send me that footage and I can put it in a music video and credit you. And he was like, yeah, all right. And then we all start getting together. We have a really nice time. And then he starts directing the actors, sort of going, actors, run. And they all run all the way down there. Hey, up. And they all run all the way down there, and they just make so much, the shots are so good. Here's a preview. It's brilliant, isn't it? I'm gonna try and find this guy's Instagram. I can't remember what his Instagram is. I don't have Instagram anymore, so I'm gonna get it up for you. And yeah, I'm gonna leave you on some of these shots. Yeah, take care, everybody. Bye bye. I felt like that was a shorter one, like 13 minutes. Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about being yourself and trying to be yourself in many different ways, and how maybe possibly trying to be yourself is not the way to go. And I'll sort of explain what I mean. So first off, a little bit of backstory about myself. I'm not a particularly big people person. I'm not someone that is able to go up to someone and be really energetic and confident and all that kind of thing. And that's kind of where this idea of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence came from, because I play Jonny Mozza, and the whole film is about essentially me gaining confidence as a person. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with these videos as well, is kind of explain my worldview and the way that I talk about things and the way that I think about things, and try and figure out a way of exploring quite complicated ideas in a very naturalistic and quite human feeling way, in a way that can hopefully resonate with you guys. So if I presume some of you are introverted, a lot of you might not really enjoy talking to other people, even though you're in the conversation, you're like, I should be enjoying this. And the person's talking to you, and you're going, yeah, and the words are kind of going in. They're trying to resonate. You're trying to listen, but then, you might get distracted by a singular noise, or like maybe some construction happens, and you're like, oh, why is the construction happening? And in the time that you thought, oh, why is there some construction happening? They've kind of expanded on their point as they've been talking to you through that bit of construction. And you've not focused on that extra bit of context that they've been discussing. And it's just, that bit's gone blank, and now you're kind of behind, and you're failing to really keep up and understand what they're talking about. But it feels kind of rude to stop them and go, oh, I stopped paying attention to what you were saying because there was some construction noises going on over there, so I just stopped bothering to listen to you so I could think about that for a bit. Sorry, can you start your monologue again, as if you've got everything you just said off the top of your head down and recited? Can you do that for me, please? And you can't really do that. You can kind of go like, oh, sorry, what was that? Sorry, I didn't catch that. You can do a bit of that. But if you do that too much, it does start to become grating. And especially when you're like, because each time they will say it a bit clearer, and then it gets to the point where they are trying to communicate the issue, all right? And they start doing that. So you'll be in all these sort of situations with people, and you kind of get back. You leave the conversation, you leave the event that you went out for to meet this person at, and you're on your way home, and you've got your headphones in, and you're maybe leaning out the bus window, and you kind of you're listening to your music, which is music that maybe you don't hear very often, being played out in the wild. So you feel kind of alone in the sense that like you're listening to music that you don't hear anyone else listening to. And then you get back and you brush your teeth, and you have your dinner, and then you brush your teeth and you watch like some episodes of an old TV show that it feels like only you like, and then you go to bed and you scroll through like your stuff on your phone that is all marketed towards you because of the algorithms and all that sort of thing, and you end up falling asleep, and you see all the worst side of yourself. You see the parts of you that you don't go and show off to others, and as a result, it makes you sort of feel like you're somehow less than those other people, and so you're constantly trying to catch up and play like this real person. And you are a real person. You're just as real as everyone else, and everyone else is just as real as you. And we all have this thing of when we go to a meeting or meet some friend or whatever, and then we put on a bit of the confidence, and then we head off, and it kind of goes. And I am a bit of an introvert, so I kind of have a bit of like I'm on my own sort of thing. Let me just sort of take stock of like, how did I think about what went down at the event? Even if it's just we went for a coffee, I might be thinking like, we had a fun conversation about this topic, and but he said that sort of thing that, I didn't really know what to make of that. It's not, I don't know, it's not the sort of thing you'd normally say. So, a bit weird. Yeah, that kind of thing. It's not like you're full on like. Because you know how you can, if you're particularly anxious, a person like kind of I am, you might sort of be thinking, all these people are talking smack about me and that kind of thing. Or they might be thinking that I'm a terrible person. They're not. They might just sort of think, that's not the sort of thing he normally does. Or that kind of thing. And the idea of being your true self is very difficult, because the phrase is, you got to try to be yourself. And you shouldn't try. That's the key part here. That's the bit I take big issue with. You shouldn't try. It shouldn't be an effort to be yourself, because you are yourself. When you're on your own, that is the you. That is the real you. You're not putting on a persona for your own brain. You're just walking around being the you that you are. You're listening to the things that you like. You're not putting on music that you're not super into, but you think your brain will be into. You're putting on whatever you want for yourself, and you're accustomed to the things that you like and the things that you want and your dreams and aspirations and so on, and you're targeting yourself in that way. Whereas when you're with other people, you're kind of trying to maybe fit yourself around their personality. Like to use music as an example, say you're someone that loves punk, right? And you go and hang out with a guy that's super into EDM. You might kind of downplay how much you love punk, because it might feel like a bit embarrassing that you're so into this punk thing, and then you're kind of downplaying, and then you kind of wonder, why am I downplaying this? They're not downplaying the fact that they love EDM. They've got Dead Mouse 5 and all that like on posters in their room, and they, maybe they wear the Daft Punk hat. That's probably a bit far, but they're not downplaying their themselves and their personality. And so why are you? Why should you do that? And the answer is you shouldn't. You don't need to downplay yourself. And every time that I've started just being myself and not giving a fuck what other people think, because I read a couple bits from that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and yes, I suppose it's got some good ideas in it. But I think that it's very easy to, if you go down that mindset, to suddenly become an arrogant dickhead, essentially, because I think you can be yourself while still caring about what others think, but not allowing that to paralyze you and dictate your personality. Don't let others dictate who you are, but certainly take constructive criticism on board. If you're at a party and you tell a joke that makes everyone go like that, right? you're not going to tell that same joke again, you know? So that's the, you know, if there was the subtle art of not giving a fuck, and if you abided by that completely, you would just keep telling the joke because the joke is you. You're like, you came up with that joke, you're proud of that joke, you find the joke funny, why aren't they finding it funny? You know, it's not that you don't slightly morph yourself to the person that you're hanging out with. You know, it's not like you're exactly the same with your mum than you are with your boss, than you are with your girlfriend, than the way you are with your homies. I don't know why I said it like that. But, you know, you are different around different people, and all of those facets of you are you. They are all parts of who you are. And it's very important to remember that, and it's very important to allow that to stick with you, and to be confident in the fact that you are you. You know, and you don't have to become arrogant to own that fact and to be proud of it. You know, be proud of you and your personality and your accomplishments and you know, your life story that led you up to here. Even if you might downplay it to yourself and think like, you know, oh, I didn't have much of a story, you know, I've done very little, or like that kind of thing. You know, well, there's no reason you can't start now. Everyone's got to start somewhere. And you know, even if you haven't gotten, you know, even if you haven't written a bloody Oscar-winning film by the age of 23, even if you haven't like found a new element or been to the moon or whatever, it's not, you know, or even something small like you know, getting a nice job in an office and you know, being a stable, caring father or mother, you know, that kind of thing. You know, that even if you haven't done anything close to anything like that, you can still be proud of who you are. Why can't you be proud of who you are? Like, I mean, unless you're, I don't know, some bad things that I'm not going to discuss because of monetization. You know, even though I'm not monetized at the moment, but like, I don't really want to even discuss those sort of things because they're not really part of my point. I'm not making this video about them. I'm making this video about, you know, normal sort of people that are like your everyday kind of good-natured civilian, to say it in a very weird way, but you know, that's part of me. That is who I am, and the way that I said that is the way that I felt it, and the way that I thought it, and that's the way that my brain works. And you know, if you like that, then you clearly stick around. And I've noticed that from all the channels that I've made, I've done a lot of channels over the years where I've played characters and I've tried to do production companies and stuff like that. And I've noticed that whenever I try and do all these sort of things, I never really get anywhere. But the second I just started being myself, that's what this channel is. It's just being myself. I think it's the earnestness that people appreciate. They like the fact that they can see who you are rather than, you know, have to guess at who you are behind this curtain of an act that you put on for an audience that you don't even have. And it's good to be yourself in as many ways as you possibly can, because I know it's difficult. I know it is difficult to actually be yourself, because you might see someone that's a lot more confident than you and you might feel like that's just how they are all the time. But you don't see the parts of them where they're upset. You don't see the parts of them that feel lost in the world. You know, everyone's got their own hardships and everyone's got their own issues. And you know, they will vary in terms of severity. You know, I see some stories on the internet where I'm like, oh God, that's a upsetting life. I'm very sorry to hear that, you know, kind of thing. And you know, we're all human beings, and I think we should all try and love each other a little bit more. Not in a very, not to sound like a bloody hippie, but you know, just to embrace who you are and allow that to be the real you. Not the you that you put on for other people's approval and to fit with societal norms and that kind of thing. So, you know, by the way, that was just an endorsement of the LGBTQ blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. So, you know, be yourself. And even if you're not part of all that, be yourself. Be you. Do what you want to do as long as it's legal and you know, pleasant. And try and do right by others, because I feel like most people have that slight good element to them at heart in varying degrees. Some people are extremely giving people and some people are quite selfish. And I don't know, when it comes to being yourself, I don't know how to quite gauge that. I don't know, should a selfish person be the selfish self that they want to be? I don't know. I don't think so. So it kind of goes contrary to my point in that way. But I think the general point of being confident is what I'm getting at. Be confident in yourself, and take the parts of yourself that you know to be the most true to you, because you will know that. You'll know that your love of this thing is closer to your heart than your love of this other thing that you're kind of ambivalent about. You know, you'll know those kind of things. And for instance, sometimes I get afraid to make certain references to things because I feel like people will laugh at my taste in music or film or books or whatever. And lately I've just stopped doing that, and I don't care. And it's quite relieving, because you realise no one else cares either. You know, it's not like I've been in a conversation and someone's, you know, is using the Marvel films, for instance, to as an example for their point quite often, and they talk about that, and it's like, you know, it's a nice little insight into that world, you know, and you know, it's great that you're into that kind of thing, and I want more people to be open about their true passions, because I realise that if you try and hide your true passions, then what is your personality? And you know, from the point of view of others, what's your personality? If you're hiding all the bits that are you, what do other people have to see in you? I don't have the answer to that, other than you should try and avoid that at all costs, and just, as I said, be yourself. Practice it. Practice being yourself somehow. I don't know how. Just go out there and just do stuff. Go and be you and enjoy it, and go through life enjoying it as much as you possibly can, in a semi-hedonistic way, I suppose. Let's call it half and half. Stoicism on this half and hedonism on this half. You need a bit of both to be the ultimate happy version of you. And if you disagree with that, that is you being yourself, and I want you to put it in the comments below, and we can get some debate around the nature of man going on. I love those kind of conversations. That's something I'm really into. I love philosophizing on the stuff. I love this channel. Alex O'Connor, I've been watching quite a lot of his videos lately. He does this podcast. I don't really do the podcast, but I do his videos. I watch his videos, and like clips from the podcast and stuff like that. And it's so much fun. I really enjoy it. So yeah, let's all be ourselves, and not worry so much about what others think of us, and use the experiences that we've had that led us up to this moment to teach us where we want to go in the future, and what we want to do with our lives, and how we want to be as beings going into our glorious future. So yeah, I think that's going to be everything from me. Thank you so much for watching this. I know it was a little bit all over the place, but it's a very complicated topic. I'm probably going to do another video about this at some point, because it's such a hard topic to nail down. It's the sort of thing that you need a thesis written about, really. But I thought it's fun to watch people try and figure out the point, because it kind of makes you realize, like, you see them go down a dead end, and you know that you've probably gone down a similar dead end, and it helps you figure out your own thought process. So that's why I kind of do these videos, and I don't do jump cuts, and I don't edit anything out, and why I don't script things or take notes and rely on notes and stuff like that. The only thing, I wrote one note for this, and it's just the title of the video, which is I know it's hard, but just be yourself. So get out there and be yourself. Thank you so much for watching this. Take care. Bye-bye. I'm gonna try and do some of these to close me out. Ugh. This feels awful. This feels so bad. Like, you can hear the clank. There is a little bit of muscular tension that's happening, like the muscles are activated around here, but then it gets up here, and it feels like it should go further than this, and I should go a bit more like that, but then it just stops, like halfway through the movement. So, bit weird, isn't it?